Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 3DSWare review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Gunman Clive, which if you've never played it before, it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. It's a bit like a Contra. It's a £2 cheap little download. I looked at the video, I thought, yeah, that's worth £2, and I absolutely love it. Graphically, musically, gameplay-wise, everything about it is so simple and rugged, but just like amazing. I mean, you probably can't appreciate the detail through the camera, but trust me, when you see it, it's constantly like someone's drawing the animation in front of you. I love that style of artwork. The music sounds great as well and proper westerny, and the gameplay is just like a Contra style. As you go through the game, basically you'll, when you beat stages, then you can then replay the stages. So for example, on this file here, I've got up to stage 6 unlocked, and it tells you your clear times and that, and it tells you which ones you've done with no damage at the bottom there, which I've only managed to do one with no damage. And there's 2 different characters, and there's bosses as well, so I've set up a file with the other character so I can show her off and fight a boss at the same time. Literally the only difference that I can tell between the 2 of them is that, well, if anyone's ever played fake Super Mario Bros. 2, basically the Doki Doki Panic version, then you'll know that Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach and Toad all had different abilities. And basically Princess Peach could do a bit of a float jump. Well, that's all the female character can do on this. I can't remember her name at the moment. I know the gunman is Clive. I think she's called Mrs. Johnson. And the whole point is, depending on who you play, depends on who you actually try to rescue. There's multiple difficulties at the start, and even though I actually put Mrs. Johnson on easy just to set up the boss quicker, I actually found it harder playing as her. I don't know why. It should in theory be easier because of the floaty jump, but I actually found it much harder. As you might have noticed, there's guns littered around the place every now and then, and they'll do different things. So I've got like this, which is a bit of a homing gun, but not so much to the point that it'll always home on. It'll just home in the general direction. There's a swift shot, at least I call them swift shots from other games. It's what I've got here. You can also get cakes out of the enemies to replenish your health, which is that bar over there. And for the most part, though, it is just a side-scrolling platformer where you run and gun as well, hence why I see it. It's a lot like a Contra title. Difficulty is pretty brutal, but you get infinite lives. It's one of those games where the challenge is in beating the section, not beating the section in a certain number of lives. And it is a very challenging game. There are some parts that took me time and time and time again before I could beat them. And whenever you get hit, you do actually lose your weapon, so that makes it even harder. The bottom screen is very basic. It tells you things like your clear time, and it shows you your map and where the boss is coming up, and that's about it really. It's very basic. The bottom screen doesn't really need to be there. It's the type of thing that I'd imagine this could be ported over to the Vita easily, and I'd probably buy it again so I can get this gorgeous looking game in HD with well, slightly better sounding music, because I think my Vita does sound a bit better than this. It's just one of those things. But all the same, it's just an absolutely amazing title, and it's one that I'm glad I took the punt on. And if you're into these sorts of games, then I think it's well worth looking at. This section here is obviously very reminiscent of a Donkey Kong style game, and I quite like that. But it's one of those, there's not really much else left to see or mention about the game, and obviously I can't let you listen to the music, it's a handheld title, which is a shame. But here I am with Mrs. Johnson doing the floaty jump, and basically here comes a boss, and he does have an energy bar. It's on the right side. And basically bosses are, well, you've got to work out the pattern, so you've got to avoid his shots when he fires low with this one, and you've got to duck when he fires his shots high, and you've got to avoid getting squashed when he jumps, and you've just got to keep pounding at him until he dies or you die, and if you die you try again. And it's simple format, but it works really well. I quite like as well how the bad guys are always a different colour to you. So for example, I'm pink now, but I was orange as Clive, or orangey brown, and then the bad guys were blue, and it just works really well as the whole art style. The only difference is when the animals are on, the animals are a different colour as well, so you'll get animals that are the same as the background, so it makes it look like they're not a threat when they actually are. And you saw us fighting the horsemen earlier, and speaking of, the horsemen are there, and they're a deep dark purple, almost like a beetroot colour. And it just, I really do love this game. I can't rave about it enough, and considering it costs us £2, it's really not even case of that it's, well, it's hard to put it. I don't think it's so cheap that I was always going to like it scenario, because I think even if I'd paid £8 for it, I would have been saying it's a great game. But the fact that I paid £2 for it probably does make it a better game. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.